I'm Gina Sanders, and we're here with my mom, Dr. Regina Leffers, talking about her new book, What is Consciousness? Mom, I recognized in this book that you introduced some new ideas about facets of consciousness instead of levels, and you talk about love and fear at these various facets. Tell us a little bit about your understanding of this new concept of facets, and why now? Why write this book now?
So first I want to say that I'd like a worldwide conversation in consciousness to begin. And that's why I wrote the book. This is the critical time in our human story, where we've got more people really not listening to each other than ever before. And maybe that's not true, but it feels like that because we have an enormous population all over the world. Nobody is listening to other points of view. They're just hating. So that's why now it's important for us to actually start this conversation. But in order for us to start the conversation and have it with each other, and even inside of our own selves, we have to understand our own consciousness. And all of the books, all of the literature that is available out there is written in academic language. Mm-hmm. So ordinary people can understand it. And it's the most important thing about us. Being awake and aware of ourselves, our surroundings, each other. And so that's why now. And then I would also like to say about, you mentioned moving this model from levels to facets. And it's a complete change in the model of consciousness, because what exists out there in academic language is inaccurate as a reflection of our own experience. So it's just not accurate. This book, What is Consciousness, is written in everyday language so that people can understand it, and it is a very good reflection of what happens as we grow in consciousness. So as far as levels, moving from levels to facets, levels gives the idea that somehow we climb this hierarchical ladder, and that when we achieve the summit of the ladder, we're going to actually be better than anybody else. And it's simply not true. Yeah. It's not hierarchical. The way we learn, the way we grow and learn in consciousness is very different. And this book explains the difference, but very clearly, and using my own experience as examples, so that people can think as they listen, as they read, they'll think to themselves, oh yeah, I've experienced that. And so I'd rather leave levels to facets as kind of a present that people open for themselves as they read the book. Okay, is that it? What else did you want to know?
Love and fear.
Love and fear. See, this is the key. This is the best possible question. And the reason it's best is because we all recognize that as we live, we make decisions from either a place of fear inside of ourselves, we don't want to go there, or we're afraid to leave a certain way of life because our entire culture is invested in that. Whether that culture is simply our our own individual family or our church group, our larger organizations that we belong to. So we can either make a choice to stay in something that has become sort of too small for us, which causes us pain, or we can choose the answer to the question, what would love do if it included me in the answer? And yes, initial change, when we decide to break away from something that we've been doing for a long time, that initial change, everybody will recognize that initial change is painful. But because what we're moving into is a better reflection of who we are, we will relax into it. It'll be less painful. So essentially, choosing from love or choosing from fear means that we're choosing a life that is more painful over the long term, or immediately slightly painful, but more reflective of who we are in the long term. And that happens in every area of life, every facet of consciousness, everything that we conceive of as ourselves.
Understanding those ideas, those concepts, so helpful in your personal life, my personal life, but also I can understand how crucial this is in our interpersonal relationships and conversations with other people around the world, especially those with different ideas different than ours, and seeing, are we or they or both, are we coming from a place of love or fear inside of those conversations, and how different we could approach life if we chose love.
That's perfect, and that's exactly why I wrote this book.
Where can people get this? What is consciousness?
Okay, so they can go to Amazon.com to order it. I've kept the price very low so that anybody can order it. And it also, you can order it for your computer or Kindle, and that's a minimal expense. And then you can order it as an audiobook from Amazon or Audible.
Thank you, Mom. Dr. Regina Lepers and her new book, What is Consciousness?
Thank you, Gina.